मुझे लग रहा है कि कैप्टन विक्रम बत्रा वाज बोर्न एज ए लीडर। ये उनके शुरू से ही उनके जीन्स में था।
आपने अगर मूवी देखी है शेरशाह तो उसमें देखा आपने वो गली वाला क्रिकेट दिखाते हैं, दो छोटे लव कुश को दिखा रहे हैं।
हाँ जी, हाँ, लड़ रहे हैं।
एंड बिलीव यू मी दैट्स आवर लाइफ वाज।
उनका ये जो पर्सनैलिटी थी, जो नाम याद रखना हर एक का, उनसे बात करनी ऐसे मिस्चीवियस वे में, स्माइल एंड एवरीथिंग, क्या शुरू से ये था, उनका बचपन से ही था ऐसा।
हम दोनों टेबल टेनिस बहुत अच्छा खेलते थे और विक्रम ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू बी अ विनर। मार्शल आर्ट हम दोनों ने ज्वाइन किया था। आई वाज अ ब्राउन बेल्ट सेकंड ग्रेड इन द मार्शल आर्ट गोजुरु कराटे एंड विक्रम वाज अ ग्रीन बेल्ट।
तो कभी फ्रेंड्स में, मॉम डैड में कंफ्यूजन होती थी कि जैसे आपका लव कुछ थे, आपका नाम तो कभी लव नहीं किया या कुछ नहीं किया, विक्रम ने किया और आपके ऊपर आ जाता था।
टिपिकली एक बेलन होता है ना मदर का, टाइम पे तो वही होता है। आई एम 51 नाउ, so if you're naughty kids and mother will take a balan in the hand and she's running and you're running from one room to the other room and to the kitchen. It is not about just the story of my brother Vikram, because for me it is story of every valiant soldier, right from Vikram Batra to Manoj Pandey to Anuj Nayyar to Vijayan Thapar, Saurabh Kalia, you name anyone around. For me, everybody was a brother in the uniform. It's something like losing a limb, I would say, rather for me, if you ask me fundamentally, right? Grief can go, but the healing never goes. The last memories when I met him last on 9th of March 99. I don't forget the dates so easily, right?
नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, आदाब दोस्तों। मीट द मेमोरीज के नए एपिसोड में आपका स्वागत है। तो कुछ कहानियाँ करज से लिखी जाती हैं और कुछ सेक्रीफाइस से, लेकिन कुछ ही होती हैं जो एक नेशन की सोल में हमेशा के लिए बस जाती हैं। आज मीट द मैवरिक्स पर हम लेकर आए हैं एक ऐसी ही स्टोरी, सिर्फ उस हीरो की नहीं जिसने देश के लिए जिया और अपनी लाइफ सेक्रीफाइस की, बल्कि उस भाई की भी जो आज भी उसकी लेगेसी को आगे बढ़ा रहा है। कैप्टन विक्रम बत्रा का नाम किसी इंट्रोडक्शन का मोहताज नहीं है। वो मौत के सामने बेखौफ थे और एक अरब दिलों में अमर। लेकिन उस यूनिफॉर्म के पीछे, उस गैलेंट्री के पीछे एक भाई था, एक जुड़वा, एक आत्मा जो किसी और से जुड़ी हुई थी, विशाल बत्रा। विशाल सिर्फ यादों के रक्षक नहीं है, वो एक मिरर है जो दिखाते हैं कि विक्रम असल में कौन है। सिर्फ शेरशाह का वॉर हीरो नहीं, बल्कि विक्रम एक बेटा, एक दोस्त, एक भाई, जिसकी मुस्कान और अनब्रेकेबल विल ने पूरे भारत को इंस्पायर किया है। इस बातचीत में हम सिर्फ वॉर और वेलर की बात नहीं करते, हम बात करते हैं प्यार की, ग्रीफ की, लेगेसी की और उस एहसास की कि जब आपका दूसरा आधा शहीद हो जाए तो जीना क्या होता है। मेरे साथ जुड़िए जब हम बैठते हैं विशाल बत्रा जी के साथ सुनने एक ऐसी कहानी जो ना तो हेडलाइन से आई है, ना ही हिस्ट्री बुक से, बल्कि सीधे दिल से। ये सिर्फ एक एपिसोड नहीं है, ये एक ट्रिब्यूट है टू द रियल मैवरिक, द परमवीर चक्र अवॉर्डी कैप्टन विक्रम बत्रा। और हम बात करेंगे विशाल बत्रा जी के साथ। सो स्टे ट्यून्ड एंड प्लीज वॉच द फुल एपिसोड एंड गेट इंस्पायर्ड। हेलो विशाल जी, कैसे हैं आप?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ रोहित भाई, थैंक यू सो मच, होप यू डूइंग वेल टू।
I can't express the gratitude in words, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me here. Look forward for the discussion.
Yeah, yes, and मैंने आपका काफ़ी पॉडकास्ट सुने हैं previously and everything, so I was quite I really got emotion watching those episodes. So I just want you to start with if you can take us back to your childhood with Vikram Batra. What was like growing up? कैसे आप कुछ बचपन की जो झलकियाँ, जो mischievous things you guys did together?
Rohit, if I take you back, it was a very beautiful childhood. जिसको कहते हैं ना, a childhood which was full of laughter, pranks, and a born homie what the two identical twins would have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
और हम दोनों इतने identical होते थे कि even sometimes parents used to get confused because our nicknames were Love and Kush. कि लव कौन है और कुश कौन है?
कुश कौन है, हाँ.
And we used to do a lot of things together. We were very, very keen sports persons, both of us. Some of the memories which I can recall, while there are a lot of memories, I can't talk about all of them, but a few good memories is हम दोनों टेबल टेनिस बहुत अच्छा खेलते थे और Vikram always used to be a winner. A lot of times it used to happen that we used to get into a quarter final, semi final, और हम दोनों का आपस में क्लैश हो जाता था, which generally Vikram used to win. एक बार मार्शल आर्ट हम दोनों ने ज्वाइन किया था. आई वाज अ ब्राउन बेल्ट सेकंड ग्रेड इन द मार्शल आर्ट गोजुरु कराटे एंड विक्रम वाज अ ग्रीन बेल्ट. और वही एक ऐसा स्पोर्ट था जहां विक्रम मेरे से जूनियर था, यू कैन से, इन द एकेडमी, राइट. एंड you know, I think I've mentioned it many times that we once were asked to give a demonstration in our school. हम केंद्रीय विद्यालय में पढ़ते थे और एक बार जब हम डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन देने के लिए वहाँ पे गए तो जो हमारे गुरु थे, जिनको जापानीज में संपाई कहा जाता है, उन्होंने ऐसे ही बोला कि विशाल, आई नीड 2 bricks, क्योंकि वो स्टैंडिंग करना होता है, यू हैव टू ब्रेक द ब्रिक्स विद हैंड, राइट. Yeah, right. So when we were invited over, and my Guruji, which is senpai, just mentioned that Vishal, just go and get 2 bricks. Since Vikram was my junior, I told him, why don't you go and get 2 bricks? तो विक्रम ने ऐसे बोल दिया, यार कुछ तू खुद लेकर आना यार. तो मुझे लगा कि चलो मैं ही ले आता हूँ. और you know what I did? I broke the discipline. I just broke the fence of the school, took out 2 bricks, and you know, and senpai saw that happening. कि यार ये लड़का इसके स्कूल में हम डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन देने के लिए आए, he's breaking the discipline, and he didn't realize whether it was Vikram or Vishal, and Vikram was coming and he slapped Vikram. यार we've come in your school for the demonstration, and why are you breaking the discipline? And Vikram all of a sudden looked, hey, boss, what happened? Said, why are you breaking the fence? He said, sir, it's not me, Guruji, it's Vishal. You know, so these are some of the fondest memories, I would say, which have, you know, been there always in my mind. And that was the kind of the childhood we used to have. ऐसा होता था कि जब we were studying in a school which was inside the heart of the army cantonment. तो हमारा 3 बजे स्कूल बंद होता था, स्कूल खत्म होते हम घर आते थे. And we used to have very fixed discipline because dad was a little strict in terms of our studies. We used to go back to the same cantonment to play our sports. So that was the kind of routine we had, that you know, we spent lovely time together, being you can say the childhood friends or the brothers or the bonhomie. What we built was remarkable. We never felt that we need a company outside beyond the 2 brothers as a siblings.
तो कभी फ्रेंड्स में, मॉम डैड में कभी वो कंफ्यूजन होती थी कि जैसे आपका लव कुछ थे, आपका नाम तो कभी लव नहीं किया या कुछ नहीं किया, विक्रम ने किया और आपके ऊपर आ जाता था?
Yes, it used to happen a lot of times, Rohit. You know, in fact, कई बार होता था कि मम्मा, typically एक बेलन होता है ना मदर का, हमारे टाइम पे तो वही होता है. I'm 51 now. So if you're naughty kids, and you know, mother will take a belan in the hand and she's running and you're running from one room to the other room and to the kitchen. तो काफी बार घर पे हुआ. In fact, एक बार ऐसे स्कूल में भी हुआ था. We had a science teacher, and I think विक्रम ने होमवर्क नहीं किया था और उसकी जगह स्लैप मुझे पड़ गया था क्लास में. Right. So this used to happen, but this happened only until class 10th and 11th, because by the time you start growing, right, your physical body also takes a little different shape.
It does.
But yes, we were very identical because during those days I never used to wear a spectacle, right? तो हमारी जो similarity थी बहुत ज़्यादा थी, and I personally feel that now with the age catching up, because Vikram is as young as 25 and we lost him, so I think the age is back to the situation where our faces have started looking much alike, because you know, everybody had seen Vikram in a beard as a last pictures during his battle days.
मैं भी ये देख रहा था कि आपकी ना ऑनलाइन जब मैं देख रहा था आपके जो पुराने वीडियोस हैं, है ना, उसमें काफ़ी अलाइक है, काफ़ी आइडेंटिकल है. तो यू नो, एक वीडियो में ना मैंने आपने आई थिंक इट वाज विद सिद्धार्थ, एंड यू मेंशन्ड रिगार्डिंग विश विक्रम वाज हियर. तो किसी ने ना एक्चुअली मैसेज किया था. आई डोंट नो इफ यू एक्चुअली रेड इट, पर मैं आपको एक्चुअली पढ़ना चाहता हूँ वो मैसेज. वो कहते हैं कि विशाल, इट्स नॉट ए कोइंसिडेंस. गॉड केप्ट यू अलाइव एंड गेव यू द सेम फेस बिकॉज you could narrate Vikram's story, and through you, people can understand Vikram and his love for the nation. You are equally an hero for sharing this and inspiring next generations with Vikram's story. We are mere characters in his story, and God works in mysterious ways. You know, it was like, you know, when I read that, I thought, my God, this is actually true.
I also believe so, Rohit. Reason is, you know, I always wanted to become an army officer, and it was a dream knitted by both of us together, in fact. And we attempted our first SSB together. And I remember I was the first one to get to know that Vikram has got selected, because we were in the same center at SSB Center, Allahabad. Right? And in fact, it was me who gave a news to mom and dad that Vikram has got selected. Right? And I was not selected because my batch got washed out, and somewhere later on, of course, when we lost Vikram, I realized that we were made as twins only because God wanted me to tell his story. God wanted me to carry forward his legacy, and I think that's what the realization came much later. But now when I look back, I related to this.
Yeah, it's always the case, isn't it? कि हम उस वक्त हमें पता नहीं होता क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा, why this is happening. But I think later down the years, I have my stories, I'll tell you offline, but this is what happens. You realize, like I realized 25 years after, why that happened that day. You know, so this is life. This is everything is, like you said, God is works in his mysterious ways. Everything, isn't it? Yeah. So Vishal, what do you most remember vividly about, not as a soldier, but as a brother? कौन सी वो जो आपकी याद है जो आपको सबसे ज्यादा आती है?
तो विक्रम ने मुझे एक लेटर लिखा था और उसमें उसने मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछा था व्हेन ही वाज फाइटिंग द बैटल, दैट व्हाट हैपेंड टू योर बैंक ऑफ पंजाब इंटरव्यू. एंड व्हाई आई एम मेंशनिंग दिस इज बिकॉज लुक एट दैट द काइंड ऑफ द बॉन्ड वी हैड दैट व्हाइल ही वाज फाइटिंग अ बैटल at 17,000 feet. But he always had a concern back home that whether Kush is doing well or Kush is not doing well. And he did ask me that what happened to Bank of Punjab interview. And before he finished his letter, तो रोहित भाई उसने बहुत अच्छी बात लिखी थी. Hey Kush, don't get worried too much in life. Take the life in a stride. Because you have all the potential to do the best in your life. Be happy. Continue to work hard. And one day you will realize that you're the most happiest person on this earth. Reason is, the God is looking at you. Mm-hmm. Right? So this is one thing which, got embedded in my heart that a twin brother who was fighting a battle was always concerned about the family. And two, he always wanted me to do well. Reason is because I was better in studies in comparison to what Vikram was. While Vikram had a much better personality in terms of being outgoing, he was very vocal, Jinda Dil tha. If I have to put in the other way around, before the uniform, I can only tell you, Rohit, Vikram was a complete go-getter. जब हम स्कूल में भी होते थे, तो let me share the story that I was a boy captain of the school, और हम दोनों sports में मैंने बताया बहुत active थे. We used to play table tennis, we used to play karate, we used to do roller skating. Vikram was a very good squash player also. हमने आई थिंक स्कूल लेवल पे कोई ऐसी गेम नहीं होगी, राइट फ्रॉम अ कबड्डी टू खो खो टू अ बैडमिंटन, दैट वी वुड हैव लेफ्ट. और जो हमारा एनुअल स्पोर्ट्स डे होता था, दैट वाज द टाइम व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू हैव अ कंपटीशन दैट हु विल स्टील द मैक्सिमम ट्रॉफीज ऑन दैट स्पोर्ट्स डे. राइट, विक्रम वाज वन सच गो गेटर. एंड टू, विक्रम वाज अ बिल्कुल जिंदा दिल गाय, यारों का यार. मतलब ही वुड गो आउट ऑफ द वे फॉर हिज फ्रेंड्स नो मैटर व्हाट. Right, so these are the things which actually made me realize in the life that how important is the overall ecosystem, be it the ecosystem of your parents, your family, your friends, which I learned at a very early age life when we lost him. कि आपके जीवन में जो भी होता है, कोई भी आपका मेंबर है, चाहे फैमिली का है, दोस्ती का है, परिवार का है, परिवार के बाहर का है, कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड का है, जिंदगी में हर किसी की अहमियत होती है.
100%.
And that I think made me more grounded, that made me more humane, I would say, because I saw death at a very early age of losing somebody who was my twin alike, with whom I had spent those 9 months extra in my mother's womb.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I personally believe that bond was very, very different, and that's what I learned from Vikram's life, and that's what I remember, not vividly but so very well, and that thing has stayed with me until today when I'm 51-year-old and Vikram is as young as 25.
आपने जैसे कहा यारों का यार, राइट, आई रिमेंबर इन दैट मूवी ही रिमेंबर्ड लॉट ऑफ पीपल्स नेम्स. तो उससे पता लगता है कि कितने अच्छे लीडर हैं वो, क्योंकि हर एक का नाम याद करके पूछना है. जैसे मूवी का एग्जांपल देते हैं, गफ्फार भाई कैसे हैं आप, वो जाते हुए कैसे हैं आप. तो दैट डिफरेंशिएट हिम विद अदर्स, राइट, कि एज ए लीडर एज वेल एंड एज ए पर्सन. उनका ये जो पर्सनैलिटी थी, जो यार नाम याद रखना हर एक का, उनसे बात करनी ऐसे मिस्चीवियस वे में, स्माइल एंड एवरीथिंग. क्या शुरू से ये था, उनका बचपन से ही था ऐसा?
यस, ही वाज लाइक दैट राइट फ्रॉम हिज चाइल्डहुड. रोहित, अगर मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि ऑफ कोर्स वी वर फ्रॉम एवरेज मिडिल क्लास फैमिली, वी वर 4 siblings, राइट, एंड वी हैड दोज लिमिटेड मीन्स व्हेन वी वर living our early childhood days, right? और कहते हैं ना कि I wouldn't say kadki, but of course there was always a restriction on spending too much because there was a dearth of money.
Exactly.
My both parents were teachers, and हम दोनों को हमेशा ही बोला जाता था that we have, my dad used to tell us that I have 2 daughters to get married to. So you guys will have to find a way, right? I can spend money on your education, but don't expect me to set up a business for you guys if you don't do anything in life. तो क्या होता था कि जब हम वो गली में बच्चे होते हैं ना, बिकॉज छोटा सा शहर था पालमपुर विद अ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ हार्डली 10,000, तो आपने अगर मूवी देखी है शेरशाह, तो उसमें देखा आपने वो गली वाला क्रिकेट दिखाते हैं, दो छोटे
जी
लव
जी
कुश
जी
को
दो,
दिखा रहे हैं
हाँ
वो,
जी, हाँ लड़ रहे हैं, हाँ.
एंड बिलीव यू मी that's our life was, that reality our life was, we used to play the gully cricket. तो क्या होता था, हमारे वार्ड्स होते थे हमारे शहर में, वार्ड नंबर 1, वार्ड नंबर 2, वार्ड नंबर 3, वार्ड नंबर 5, वी वर फ्रॉम वार्ड नंबर 7, तो वार्ड वाइज मैचेस होते थे, वार्ड 7 वर्सेस वार्ड 2, तो एवरी वीकेंड यू नो वी यूज्ड टू हैव मैचेस. तो क्या होता था, एक गली की टीम आई, एक दूसरी गली की टीम आई है, और यू नो वाइल जो जितने भी गली बॉयज होते थे, इफ आई कैन यूज द वर्ड द गली बॉयज, कोई गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में जाता था, कोई पब्लिक स्कूल में जाता था, कोई प्राइवेट स्कूल में जाता था, तो द काइंड ऑफ द कैमरेडरी वी यूज्ड टू बिल्ड बाय रिमेंबरिंग दोस नेम्स. वो अमित आ रहा है, ही इज फ्रॉम वार्ड नंबर 5, वो सनी आ रहा है, ही इज फ्रॉम वार्ड नंबर 3, वो लव आ रहा है, ही इज फ्रॉम वार्ड नंबर 7, कुश इज फ्रॉम वार्ड नंबर 7. So I think that got into our minds right from the early childhood, is because we were lucky enough that we didn't have the impact of the social media what is there, right? हमारे वो दिन होते थे, अब जिंदगी में अगर आपने किसी के घर जाना ना, तो मैं नीचे जाऊंगा, बालकनी में खड़े होऊंगा और बोलूंगा, रोहित भाई कम डाउन. There was no luxury of having forget the mobile phone, there was no luxury of having a telephone at home. So अगर आपको किसी के पास जाना है और मिलना है, और आपको पता है उस दोस्त का घर आपके घर से 2 किलोमीटर दूर है, you will actually walk in 2 kilometers, go stand behind the balcony and shout the name and call the guy. So I think that kind of a culture also played on the minds of we people, because that was a very different era, if I can say, because we were 74 born, right? So I think that also played somewhere in remembering the names. So another reason also for remembering the names, Rohit, is because in the army when you go, right, and when you get commissioned, right, you're supposed to know the names of all our buddies, all your soldiers. So if you're commanding a platoon or a company where you have 30 odd people or 40 odd people, you can't say that you don't know the name. So it is typically, for example, that you are a class monitor. You're supposed to know the names of all the people, because you are the one who's going to control the discipline. And unless you don't know the names, you can't have the discipline. So one was, of course, the childhood memory of right from being a class monitor to that gully cricket, and then, of course, graduating to a commissioned officer and leading a platoon or a company. So what happens is, when you know somebody by name, the camaraderie what you build, the bonhomie you can show towards your men, is of a far higher quality in comparison to not knowing the name also.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that also got both from both the sides, from the childhood days as well as what the army teaches you as a way of life, right?
Yeah. You know, वो कहते हैं ना, कोई लीडरशिप सीखता है, right? And कोई लीडर born as a leader, right?
Yeah.
Born as a. So मुझे लग रहा है कि कैप्टन विक्रम बत्रा was born as a leader. ये उनके शुरू से ही उनके जीन्स में था कि he was born as a leader. उस वक्त मुझे याद है कि मैं इंडिया में था उस वक्त, एंड पहली वॉर हमने देखी थी, राइट? उस वक्त तो काफ़ी मीडिया भी उस वक्त काफ़ी था, सब कुछ चल रहा था ऑनलाइन, है ना, दिखा रहे थे न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे, तो पूरा इंडिया एक था उस वक्त. देयर वाज लाइक यूनिटी इन देयर, राइट? लास्ट टाइम मेरे ग्रैंड डैड आर्मी में थे, वो 65 की वॉर में, चाइना वॉर में थे, बट उसके सभी ने, हमने तो वही देखी है, एक कारगिल वॉर ही एज ए फैमिली मेम्बर. तो वो कैसा कि हम ऑब्वियसली वी कांट अंडरस्टैंड इट, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, वी कांट, राइट, एज ए फैमिली मेम्बर, तो ऐसे कैसा वो वन थिंग अबाउट ग्रीफ और हीलिंग दैट पीपल ऑफ्टन मिसअंडरस्टैंड, स्पेशली फॉर माई आर्मी फैमिली.
I'll tell you, there are two different connotations. Grief is something else, healing is something else. Grief is something more about when you hear about the loss. That you lost him. That's a movement of the grief, that there's somebody who's as close to you as a twin sibling, right? Being into the womb for 9 months together. It's something like losing a limb, I would say, rather, for me, if you ask me fundamentally, right? Grief can go, but the healing never goes. My personal experience of having lost Vikram for the last 25 years is that you only learn to live with it. 1. 2, a lot of times you hide your emotions. So it doesn't mean that you're smiling, that there's no grief inside, right? Right? So sometimes you only have to put a brave face because, see, एक कहावत है, it's a very old saying, किसी ने कहा है कि time heals everything. and give time some time.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, time heals nothing.
Nothing.
As I mentioned, you only tend to learn how to live with that grief, how to live with that loss, right? And when you say give time some time, it's important because there are memories, which are so fresh in the mind. Because for me, I had seen Vikram only for those 25 years, right? So for me, Vikram is as youthful as he was when he was 25. I just cannot add any other memory in my life. For me, the last memory is when I met him last on 9th of March 99. I don't forget the dates so easily, right? So that was a time, 9th of March 99. I never got to meet him again. I never got to speak to him ever again. He went straight away to the battlefield. As I mentioned, I didn't have the luxury of having a mobile phone. So people do, you misunderstand the terminology, but let me tell you, I think it's also a question of that how one takes it in the life, right? So for me, the grief was, of course, that losing somebody like Vikram. The pain is that I've lost one of my limbs, and that will stay with me till the time I am alive, I would say. And healing means nothing heals. It's only that I've been, I think, if I can use the word, that I've been fortunate enough that I'm a lookalike. All right, you just read a quote about what once somebody had mentioned that people do appreciate my sharing the story, because I think the God destined it this way to happen, right? And three, I personally believe I'm a God-fearing guy. I fundamentally believe a lot in the destiny. I believe a lot in the hard work. That God wanted me to live the life this way. While I have my own niche, I have my own character. While I have my own, but having lost Vikram so young, quite a large part of my life has revolved around him. एंड मुझे लगता है कि शायद मेरे कुछ पिछले जन्म में कोई अच्छे कर्म रहे होंगे, या मेरा कोई कर्जा रहा होगा जो मैंने विक्रम का चुकाना था, जो मैं इस हीलिंग के थ्रू, इफ आई कैन से, with whatever healing I have to go through, I think this is a kind of a healing to me that I share about him. This itself is a healing.
It is.
Right. That's the way I look at it. I don't know if I answered it correctly, but that's the way I generally feel about it.
No, I feel the same way. Ki it's through healing you're kind of managing that.
Yeah.
And this is the only way, I think. Probably that's how God destined it, right? That you need that. You need, otherwise it would have been very hard. Right?
Yes.
Yes. जैसे मैंने काफ़ी सुना है ना, आप काफ़ी शेयर करते हैं उनकी लेगेसी, उनकी जो स्टोरीज हैं जो आपने बताई हैं हर जगह. तो this is your way, I feel, to feel that healing हो जाए. पर वो आप जैसे आपने कहा, वो ग्रीफ है, वो हीलिंग होती नहीं है, हम जस्ट मैनेज ही करते हैं.
Yeah, right? We just manage it. Yes,
we just manage it. Yeah.
Yes.
I just remembered a quote from Gabor Mate. He's a very good trauma specialist. I don't know if you heard him. He said trauma is not like the thing happened. Trauma is after when the thing happened, right?
True.
That is actually trauma. That is actually, you have to manage that. You can't change anything, but this is where you have to manage that. Yeah.
True.
तो मेरे दिमाग में काफी क्वेश्चन है, तो मैं
please go ahead.
Yeah. तो आपने how have you actually personally carried his legacy? जैसे आपने कहा कि हाँ मैं करता हूँ, पर कैसे किया आपने? Not publicly but privately, if you can share that, please.
One, as I mentioned, Rohit, that we dreamt of joining the forces together, and Vikram knew it from the day one that I was good in my studies. I was a very hardworking guy. I was very I was a straight ranker in my undergraduation, right? I was a university topper in my management, right? And Vikram knew that Vishal would do very well in life, right? Since I mentioned that we dreamt of joining the forces together, I did 3 attempts, I couldn't make it. So Vikram gave me a lot of encouragement when I was doing my masters, that Vishal, कि अभी forget about the forge, because क्या होता है कि forge में it's a age retirement. If you don't join early, the possibility of a higher growth also diminishes with the lag, right? So एक तो ये था कि जो विक्रम ने legacy create करी, I won't say it was a pressure, so don't let the people not misread it. But मुझे लगा था कि विक्रम को बहुत confidence था मेरे ऊपर कि मैं अच्छा करूँगा, तो I had no choice but to do well because the kind of the legacy he had created for himself. I never wanted to be an ordinary human being. right? I wouldn't say I'm an extraordinary. I'm not construing that. But I knew Vikram had a lot of confidence in me that whichever sector I would choose in my life, be it services, be it corporate ladder, I will live up to the dream we had dreamt together. If not in the army life, then in the corporate world, right? Number one. Number two, what Vikram did at a young age of 24. Not many people even start thinking about their careers at the age of 24.
Exactly.
Presently in today's world, right?
Especially, yeah.
Vikram, especially today with the social media around, right?
Yeah.
Vikram became an icon in himself, and few things which I learned from him. If I can go back to his Kargil days, a lot of people remember him for his famous interview of Ye Dil Mange More. But for me, his best interview was not about Ye Dil Mange More. Of course, that became a punchline. It caught the fancy of Indian people because it was the first televised war. You did mention that how a young guy at the age of 24 and a half fighting a battle at 17,200 feet and still wanting, that he is still not over with the battle. पर मेरे लिए उसका जो famous interview था, Rohit, it was when he came back on the base camp on 26th of June and he was interviewed by, if I remember it vividly, he was interviewed by one of the journalists from the Star TV. तो उन्होंने विक्रम को पूछा था कि what was your biggest success when you went up for the first mission to capture .5140? तो विक्रम ने बोला था कि the biggest success was that I went up with 6 men and I came back with 6 men. I didn't do the second.
I remember that. Yeah.
I think that left an indelible mark on my head. कि leadership is not individual. Leadership is about leading a team because it's a collective effort. While you might be the hero, but there are people who played a role in that heroism. There are people who play a role in that victory, what you finally get.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that thing, stayed with me in my life in the last 25 or 27 years of my professional career. And I think, I learned that, Vishal, you have no choice, but whatever profession I will get into, because as I mentioned, I was struggling in my career. I didn't have a choice but to do well. And I still follow, the leadership lessons I've learned from him. So one was this. Two, I think he led always from the front. When I met 100% of the soldiers, who were along with him, who were fighting the battle alongside Vikram in both the missions, the 5140 as well as the .4875, जिसको बत्रा टॉप भी बोलते हैं, right? That whenever Vikram used to lead the mission, people used to follow him. वो कहते थे विक्रम साहब ऊपर जा रहे हैं तो हम साथ जाएंगे. उनको पता था कि विक्रम सबसे आगे चलेगा. And Vikram always used to say that if ever it has to be a bullet, I'll be the first one to bite a bullet. So I personally believe I might have failed a lot of times. I won't say that I would have succeeded at all the points because success is never linear, is what I believe, right?
100%.
So I followed that principle of Vikram, right? That Vishal, whatever team you lead doesn't make a difference whether you're leading a team of 10 people or you leading a team of 50 people or 1,000 people. I have to lead the way, and I have to ensure that if you win the battle, you give the credit to the team. If you lose the battle, take the responsibility. Right? So that's the second lesson what I learned from Vikram's life, which I've followed all my life. Third, Vikram had already mentioned in his letters that life is a total risk. Right? And he had repeated this line, Rohit, twice. In one of his letters which he had written to me during the Kargil War.
During the Kargil War, yeah.
Yeah. And he said, take care of mom and dad, take care of everyone around you. So I felt, I don't know if I can say it. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but somehow I knew that he's not going to come back. And he wanted me to shoulder the responsibility of everyone around at a very early age. Right? So could be a possibility that the responsibility got shouldered on me quite early. Right? If I can put it that way. And I thought that it's my personal responsibility, it's my personal drive, it's my personal motto to live up to what Vikram would have expected, what he could not say to me, but he mentioned in those letters. Right? And then I thought that I have no choice. I have to be responsible towards being a good citizen of the country, be a good human being, be a good leader like him, while I might not be 100% exactly like what Vikram had done, because the arena is very different for a man in the uniform, right?
Yeah.
But within my limited resources and means, and within my limited ability and capability, whatever I can call it as, I had to do well. Right? And fourth, as I mentioned earlier, that as I said, that what Vikram did at a very early age, and I still believe that there are a lot of people which I've walked across in the last 25 years. I've met, I don't know, hundreds of the men in the uniform whom I meet. They tell me, Vishal, we joined forces just because of one man, which was your brother.
Your brother, yeah.
Right? So I thought it's very important for me to tell the world about his story. Right? And it is not about telling the story, and to be very candid and to be very honest, Rohit, it is not about just the story of my brother Vikram, because for me, it is story of every valiant soldier, right from Vikram Batra to Manoj Pandey to Anuj Nayyar to Vijayan Thapar, Saurabh Kalia, you name anyone around, right? For me, everybody was a brother in the uniform.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought through Vikram as a medium, right? Because Vikram was my own part. Vikram was a part of my own life. Vikram was my own blood. I think if I could share the stories of the valor of all those young people who didn't even look back when India needed them, who had a very bright career in front of them for the next 30 years for being a man in the uniform, and I'm sure they all would have graduated to the rank of a 1-star general or 2-star general. And why do I say this? Because when I look back, Rohit, out of when Vikram got commissioned, his batch was 101, right? You won't believe it. 42 of his classmates are serving brigadiers in the army today.
Right.
Vikram would have been a brigadier today,
Right?
Right. So he also had a long career. Each one of these people I mentioned, Anuj Nayyar, Manoj Pandey, had a career in front of them. So I think it's very, very important for me to tell about the valor of these people, that it is all about courage. It is all about self-belief. It is all about your perseverance. It is all about your focus, dedication, dream, and your love for the country, that one must strive to be a good citizen. It doesn't make a difference whether you're a man in the uniform or you're a civil servant or you're a corporate leader. So I thought that I had the overall responsibility of clubbing it all together, if I can put it, if I can summarize it. And I wanted to live up to his credo of what he had set a tone for us. He's been my inspiration too, right? And when you have somebody who's inspired you, who's your own sibling, I never felt the need to look out.
True.
Right? While I would have learned. I'm sorry. I don't mean that I'm not learned. I have lovely leaders to work in my own corporate ladder. Right? From all the people. There are few leaders who teach you humility. There are few leaders who teach you passion. There are few leaders who teach you perseverance. Right? There are few leaders who teach you dedication. There are few leaders who teach you how to become an expert in something what you want to do. Right? So I am not undermining the lessons what I've learned in my own corporate life of 25 years from all those leaders. But there's a lot of difference between one who can inspire you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Picking up a quality and imbibing it is one different thing, but somebody who can inspire you continuously.
Yes.
Right. So I think I had a wholesome responsibility towards my own country in limited form of what I do as a professional on my professional front. But being a twin of a brother, being a twin brother of a man in the uniform who caught the fancy of the Indian people, who led India to victory, I think the responsibility was far bigger.
उन्होंने काफ़ी लोगों को इंस्पायर किया, काफ़ी लोगों को, that time, a young generation at that time, even now, today's world. I remember जब मेरी बेटियां छोटी, यहाँ की बोन है, right? दोनों देख रही थी movies and they got so emotional and they goes, Dad, this is what inspiration looks like, and they even here, they got inspired.
I'll tell you, so good to hear that, Rohit. I'll tell you, believe you me, after the release of the Sher Shah, I got a mail from one of the colonels of the US Army, who's a US citizen, that Vishal, and I don't know where did he get my email ID from, that Vishal, I just watched the movie on a brother, and being an ex-colonel of the US Army, I'd never come across such a brave soldier ever in my life for having served US Army for 34 years. Your brother's story is a story of valor. It's a story of courage. It's a story of dedication. It's a story of love towards the country, love towards the Indian flag.
Yeah.
I was amazed to look at this mail, which popped into my email box after the release of the movie. Right? And I don't know how many, hundreds and hundreds of mails have come down to me from various walks of the life. So I think that talks about the volumes of leadership and the passion what Vikram had.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that how actually Vikramji actually inspired you as well. You know, what do you think then Vikram would be so proud of you in you today?
I wish he was there to see by himself what I'm doing. You know, I just work for an institution called ICICI Bank Limited. I'm a national business head managing the defense services and paramilitary forces vertical for my bank in the country. I think what Vikram would have been most proud of today if Vikram was here is that while I couldn't wear the olive green, I couldn't don the uniform for what we had knitted a dream, you know, almost close to, if I can say 90, so it's almost close to 35 years together, that I'm serving the men in the uniform in my limited capacity of my profession being a banker. I think you would have been very, very proud that, you know, while I didn't don the uniform, but I'm serving the men in the uniform through my bank, and thanks to my organization that they bestowed upon this responsibility on me, that I'm leading a national role for the defense services, portfolio for my own institution in ICICI Bank in India.
So that's again reminding me, God works in mysterious ways, right? And you wanted to go in the army, है ना, जाना चाहते थे आप, but देखिए कैसे आप आज सर्व कर रहे हैं इंडियन आर्मी को in a different way, right? So it's amazing to hear. That's why, you know, I always believe that we plan a lot of things, right? हम काफ़ी कुछ प्लान करते हैं, पर जो होना है वो mysterious ways में God वो रास्ता दे ही देता है, पास दे ही देता है हर जगह.
Absolutely true.
You know, so,
absolutely true.
विशाल जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि have you ever felt pressured कि जैसे आप सभी आपके ना भाई की कैप्टन विक्रम बत्रा की बातें करते हैं, देखो कितनी करेज, you know, leadership, strength, valor. आपको कभी ऐसा प्रेशर फील हुआ कि who your brother is and then, you know, I need to show something?
I wouldn't say pressure at all. See, let me answer in two different ways. One, I'll always take a lot of pride in telling that I'm his twin brother. As I mentioned that, you know, शायद मेरे कुछ अच्छे कर्म रहे होंगे किसी जन्म में, that God gifted me as a birth of a twin sibling who's a icon in the country today, right? But I personally believe that I take a lot of pride in what he's done for the country, right? Yeah. And when I say pride, it's not about being proud in a negative connotation, but being proud of that you're associated with such a legend in some way or the other way. Could be that I'm one of his friends. There are a lot of people who are you know, the best buddies of Vikram. I'll tell you, you know, I can name a few of them. You know, you would have watched the movie Sher Shah. The Sunny is another friend. Sunny, shown in the movie shown. We have another very dear friend, Captain Colonel Hardeep Sandhu. Not many people know about him, but Colonel Hardeep Sandhu was one of the closest buddies of Vikram. Right, he was also Vikram's senior in the IMA. He's an ex-NDA. Right, who knew Vikram as good as I know him as a twin brother. They are equally proud. Right, all the people who know Vikram in some form or who were attached to Vikram in some form or the other, even if they were classmates in a different profession, they also take off pride. You know, when Vikram comes as a topic of discussion, Vikram hota, I'm his classmate. Right. So I never felt pressured, but yes, definitely, as I mentioned, that I always felt that I had a responsibility of living up to the standards he has set for this country, the legacy he has left behind for all of us to emulate, and also the legacy what I have to continue to take it forward until I'm alive or until I have the breath, that no one can tarnish it. Right? I don't wish to do anything in the life which can really tarnish his legacy as a soldier. You know, one is Vikram, but then Vikram is a brother. You know, for me, for the world, he's a Vikram Sher Shah, but for me, he'll be my brother Love. Right? It's only that, you know, people got to know Vikram and Vishal. Otherwise, in all French fraternity during our school days, सबको ये पता है जुड़वा भाई हैं, Love and Kush. For me, Vikram will always be my love. Right? So I won't say that, but I do feel that yes, I have that responsibility, I wouldn't say pressure, to maintain the sanctity of leadership he has shown, the bravado he has shown, right? To preserve it till the time I'm alive. It's more about preserving that legacy. It's more about taking care of that legacy, right? Is more of a responsibility, right?
More responsibility. Yeah, well said. Yeah. आपने जैसे कहा कि कोई जो भी इंसान person connected है, right? वो सब कहते हैं कि very proud. I'm very proud of my friend, my brother, my mate, my schoolmate, whoever, right? I was even looking at the messages. Somebody said, even students were saying, Captain Vikram Patrini's sister हमारे school में पढ़ाती हैं, they are the teachers. They are very proud of that. See how much legacy he has left behind of that. Even students who are studying in your sister's schools, they're saying they are very proud कि Captain Vikram Patrini's sister हमें पढ़ा रही हैं. That shows that what you were just talking about, right? That the inspiration, that the feeling of proudness. He's a conduit between everything, basically.
True.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah. मेरे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन था कि what do you want people to understand? Not just about Vikram, but the families, जैसे behind every uniform. कि हम काफ़ी बात करते हैं कि हम नहीं समझ सकते जो फैमिली गुजरती हैं टाइम से, जैसे ऐसे वॉर होती हैं या ऐसे ही, तो what do you want people to understand?
The only thing, a lot of times, we become patriotic only in the times of crisis. Right? 26 January I will celebrate, 15th August I will celebrate, Army Day I will celebrate, Air Force Day I will celebrate, Navy Day I will celebrate, Operation Vijay Divas we'll celebrate. What about the balance 360 days?
Exactly.
So what only I want people to understand, I'm sure a lot of them would understand, samajhte honge, because everybody has their own way of understanding, and let me be straight that if somebody has lost a sibling, for me, he was my brother. And whatever number of people we lose, even today, be it part of a proxy war or infiltration, I would say, why do we talk only about the Operation Vijay or a Kargil war or a 71 or a 65 war? We have quite a large number of soldiers who die for the country or their Pelton across borders. People will have to understand it's a loss of a life, one. But above all, somebody is losing his brother or a father, right? Or a sibling. So please understand that somebody is losing now. उस family का भी उस बच्चे के लिए कोई dream होता है, right? So if you have to remember the sacrifice of those people only on those special days, sometimes it hurts. And why do I say this is because I have been to all of these posts. I've climbed 5140, I've climbed 4875. I have gone to Dras, I've gone to Leh, I've gone to Srinagar, I've gone to Valley. Let me tell you, Rohit, the place where the Indian forces fought the battle, one must visit to see, in what conditions they fought the war. और मैं एक ही चीज बोल सकता हूं इस चीज में, फॉर द एंटायर जनरेशन, फॉर द एंटायर पीपल ऑडियंस हु वुड बी लिसनिंग टू मी, ये बहुत प्यारी सेइंग एंड इट इज नॉट माय सेइंग, व्हेन यू गो होम टेल देम ऑफ अस वी गिव आवर टुडे फॉर योर टुमारो. So when these young people, irrespective whether infiltration, proxy war, where we lose our men in the uniform, they die for the country, they die for us. They die so that we can breathe freely, we can breathe easily, we can live comfortably in the cushy homes with our families around. Respect the sacrifices what these people make for us, right? Two, you don't need solemn occasions to remember the sacrifice of our brothers in the uniform, right? Celebrate their, the way they create inspirations for the younger generation rather than just following the people. I wouldn't get into the details though, but they're the people who are the real inspirations. Follow their footsteps. It doesn't make a difference what contribution you want to give to the country. As I mentioned, that I always fundamentally believe that not everybody will become a man in the uniform. Not everybody will become a civil servant. Not everybody will don a uniform of a navy or a paramilitary forces, right? But end of the day, we all people, I personally believe, and I'm not saying it for the heck of saying, because it's my fundamental belief, that we all live in a country, which has a rich civilization. We live in a country which has a rich cultural heritage.
We do.
Live up to at least the ethos of this country, yeah. In whatever form you want to contribute to the country, towards the development of this country.
Yeah.
Right. We had such stalwarts like Maharana Pratap, Lakshmi Bai from this country. Right.
Exactly.
We had the likes of Vikram Batra. Think of the first Paramveer Chakra, Major Somnath Sharma. Right. Think of Manoj Pandey, Anuj Nayyar. I think they all, whatever they did for the country, I think they were bound to do, because they were the man in the uniform. But what Vallabhbhai Patel did, everybody, right? So I think, whatever format you can contribute towards being a good citizen, at least do that. Just understand that we all have a responsibility, right? That's the only thing I want the people to understand, nothing else. And two, please understand that it is because of the sacrifice of a few people, as I mentioned, that we are free. Nobody wants a war.
Exactly.
Nobody wants a war. It has a very high cost. Right. So please understand that. Right. It's not easy to just comment and array Fauj mein aisa hota hai, Fauj mein aisa hota hai. It's very easy to come and comment. But have you ever gone and see what these people do? Please go and visit those shrines. For me, each of these places is a shrine.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. Standing in a 17,000 feet.
Yeah.
Where the highest temperature recorded is minus 60 degrees, where the Indian Army fought the battle, Indian Air Force fought the battle. Do you think a normal individual can go and stand? I can guarantee you that he would faint.
Exactly, no chance.
I remember having climbed 4875. When I came back after climbing and paying tribute to my brother at 17,000 feet, I had a headache for the next 3 days. I climbed 5140. When I came back, I had to take a drip because my BP had shot.
Wow. And they fought in
and
those
these people
conditions.
were fighting the battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So respect that. That's it. I don't expect anything else.
Wow. Amazing. And actually very well said, Vishalji. Very well said. I think everyone needs to take this into their strides. कुछ करें. जैसे आपने कहा हर कोई आर्मी में नहीं जा सकता, बट हम यार नॉर्मल पीपल हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. कुछ कर लो देश के लिए, right? Yes. Every little helps. You don't have to be, because not everyone can be captain.
Every drop in the ocean counts, Rohit, by simple.
Exactly. Yeah. जैसे मैंने अपना आप इंट्रो दे रहे थे, मैंने सुना था कि आपने कहा था जैसे 5 तत्व से बने हुए, और जो छठा है वो आर्मी जो सोल्जर्स का वो है करेज, है ना? तो वो मेरे दिल में ना बस गया वो. मैंने कहा हाँ, ये बिल्कुल सही है. जो छठा है ना वो है ही करेज है. वो इसीलिए वो आर्मी में थे, और इसीलिए वो आर्मी में जाते हैं. Not everyone can do that, like you said. It takes that courage. When you don that uniform, I remember my granddad used to tell me, when you don that uniform, you are just different. And my cousin was in.
So true.
My cousin took a short service commission in Air Force. Yes, I think Air Force. Yeah. So he was saying it's totally different. So when he comes back, so now he's finished his short service, but he said like it was totally different. It was totally different. So I just
I remember,
everyone.
You're so right. I've shared it, but I'll share it in your podcast here. Rohit, I met Vikram somewhere in October 98. Right, he had come down on some chutti. And that's the first time when I saw, Vikram in the combat uniform. Right. Otherwise, he was, of course, when he graduated, on the day of his commissioning, he was in the olive green. But that time he was in the combat, and he was not in a very happy mood because he had lost one of his soldiers. I did narrate this incident earlier also in quite a large number of interviews. That, और मैंने उसको पूछा बहुत upset लग रहा है, तो he said, I lost one of my soldiers. So मैंने उसको ऐसे पूछा, तेरे को बुलेट से डर नहीं लगता? और उसने वो मुझे आंसर दिया ना, वो आज तक मेरे जहन में वो आंसर अलाइव है. कहता यार कुछ जिस दिन तुम फौज ज्वाइन कर लेते हो ना, एंड इफ यू बिकम एन इन्फेंट्री सोल्जर, उस दिन तुम्हारे नाम का एक बुलेट बन जाता है. कहता और अगर उस बुलेट ने आपको लगना ना, तो बुलेट आपको अपने आप ढूंढ लेगी. This thing, Rohit, has stayed with me until now. And this he mentioned, I'm telling you, I don't remember the date, but I remember the month, October 98, 27 years. And he was just a second lieutenant. He was not even a lieutenant.
And age of 23, probably, isn't it?
Age of 23 and a half.
24, yeah. Dekho. I think he was born to do that. That's it.
He
was born to inspire us, every one of us. He was born to do that. And thanks for taking his legacy, let's say apne kaha, to the world as well, and then this will carry on, after we leave and everything, this thing will carry on. This is why I think sharing the stories very important है. चाहे मूवी हो या जैसे हम बात कर रहे हैं, चाहे कैसे भी हो, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जो सुने. आजकल जैसे इन्फॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे हर जगह, तो काफ़ी लोग इंस्पायर होंगे इससे, तो विशाल जी मैं थोड़ा और टाइम लूँगा, जस्ट 5 मिनट और
प्लीज.
तो अगर विक्रम आपके सामने अभी बैठे हुए हैं, तो व्हाट वुड यू वांट टू से टू हिम?
I would say I wish Vikram you were physically here to see what you've done for this country here.
Yeah.
And why do I say this? Because I remember, Rohit, when I paid a tribute to Vikram on 7th of July 2019, because we lost him on 7th July 1999.
999, yeah.
7th July 2019, exactly 20 years later, I paid tribute to him by climbing 4875. And thanks to the telecom, thanks to the satellite networks, I was carrying a mobile phone. At a 17,000 feet, it was working. It was an Airtel telephone. And I gave a call to my dad. And I told my dad, I'm calling from Batra Top, 0.4875. Dad ने मुझे पूछा, तुझे कैसा लग रहा है? तो मैंने डैड को बोला, Dad, I wish this call was made 20 years back by Vikram himself. If Vikram is in front of me, I would have said, Vikram, thank God you're here to see what you've done for this country, what you've done to inspire the youth of this country, the kind of the legacy you've created. I wish he was there on the 26th of January 2000 when he was honored with the highest guarantee award, Paramveer Chakra, to receive it by himself, because that was the day when we actually broke very badly, because every 26th of January, the Paramveer Chakra recipients were alive, right from Subedar Major Bana Singh ji, Sanjay Kumar ji, Yogendra Yadav, they take that salute on the Rajpath. And I remember Vikram having attended 1994, 26 January 1994 Republic Day Parade by himself, by marching in one of the contingents of the Punjab Directorate. It would have been a different world, I believe. That's what I would have told Vikram, that Vikram, you deserved it, right?
You deserved it, yeah. And I'm sure he's watching us, and
I'm sure he's watching us.
He's very proud of you. To be honest, I'm 100% sure he's very proud of you and all the family. It's not easy. Like I said, I can't understand, but I can empathize. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But he's very proud. He's very proud of you. You want to grab the water? Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
And because I feel, like I said earlier, ये काफ़ी important है हमारे लिए, ये बातें सुनना, बार बार सुनना, ताकि हम और इंस्पायर हो सके. हम अगर एक बंदे को भी इंस्पायर कर सके ना विशाल जी, तो हमारा काम.
Our job is done.
हाँ,
our job is done. Yes.
Our job is done. It doesn't, like you said, every little helps. Every little helps.
Yes.
Right. Every little, and we have seen sacrifice of so many soldiers, and our history is full of that.
History is full of that.
Yeah. What message would you like to leave with the youth of this country?
I will only say that, in whatever format you could help grow this country to the next level in the changing dynamics of the artificial intelligence, the environment around, come forward and contribute in whatever little way you can contribute. Be a proud Indian, I would say rather. I think it's very, very important to take pride in the country where you live. Right, because I personally believe a country is always known by the citizens, right? And we all as a citizens have a prime responsibility of taking care of this country in the best possible manner, and be a part of the growth, because I think this decade belongs to us, right? This century belongs to us as India, right? And we are at that cusp of that growth where I think the entire tone, the entire environment, and the entire world is looking at us, right? And as we said, every drop counts. Come forward, be a great citizen, and in whatever format you can contribute, take pride in that.
थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक्स विशाल जी। आपने मैंने अभी बात याद आई, मैंने प्रेमानंद जी महाराज आपके डैड गए थे है ना उनसे मिलने, तो उन्होंने कहा था कि कैप्टन विक्रमादित्य हमारे दिल में है, सभी हिंदुस्तानियों के दिल में है, राइट? सो आई वांट एवरी वन ऑफ अस टू टेक इंस्पिरेशन विद दैट, you know, and thanks for your message for the youth, and hope लोग सुने और इंस्पायर हो सके and do something for great of our country.
Thank you so much for having me, Rohit bhai.
आपका तहे दिल से, like I said earlier at the start of this episode, that I can't express my gratitude in words, but when I see you, we will definitely talk more, and
sure.
And literally I don't have words, to be honest. You know, मैं खुद ही इंस्पायर हो गया, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, मैं सोचने लग गया हूँ कि क्या करूँ मैं आगे इंडिया आऊँगा जब.
That's sweet of you. So, that's, you know, I look forward to have you here. Look forward. Let me know whenever you're traveling to India.
No, thank you.
And we'll surely catch up.
No,
Pankaj is a dear friend, and of course, would love to.
Sanjay as well. I was telling Sanjay as well too. When he comes to UK or India, we will definitely come and see you. Yeah.
For sure. Look forward. Look forward.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely day.
And Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay दोस्तों, thanks for watching this episode. मैं अगले वीक आऊँगा एक नए गेस्ट के साथ एक नए एपिसोड में. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye for now.